Hi, welcome to Showshannah Rose radio program. I'm your host, Ann Finkelman, and we have Dr. John Huey, my chiropractor. He's been on the program several times before. I keep having him come on the program, beloved of God, because he's knowledgeable. He's proven. He's been my chiropractor 26 years, and Jesus heals through good doctors. He's a doctor of nutrition, diplomat, and he is a doctor of chiropractic. And he's very, very smart. Okay, 26 years, God has used him to save me from surgery, and he walks with God. He and his beautiful wife, Cynthia, and they're married 27 years, have 4 beautiful children. So I wanted to bring him to you today. We're going to talk about nutrition and supplements. I know we're not selling supplements. This is informative. This is an informational video for you, okay? And so if you want to, you can. If not, we're not selling supplements. This is to tell you how they work and why we can't get it from food and how it relates to natural healing, chiropractic. So if you're tired of drugs and they're not working, if you've gone to the medical doctor and you can't seem to find help and you're all drugged up and your body's all inflamed on top of inflammation from the medicine, then you want to give Dr. John a call, because he adjusts you with chiropractic, and he tells you a good supplement plan, and he will get you better by the hand of God. So I'm Ann Finkelman. I'm your host, of course, the Showshannah Rose radio program. And guess what? You've watched this program before, and I know you're going to enjoy it. Join me on Facebook, Ann Finkelman, Showshannah Ministries International, School of Prophetic Fire, an online teaching ministry, or Showshannah Ministries International. And Showshannah Rose radio program as well, www.showshannahministries.net. So without further ado, I want to introduce Dr. John Huey to you, H-U-Y. He's in Tarpon Springs, Florida, 400 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, Florida, in the Tampa Bay area. If you are anywhere near the Tampa Bay area, it would be worth your while to make a trip over this way. You know, come down Gun Highway, come down Keystone. You know, even if you're in Hudson area in Florida, or if you're in St. Pete, he's worth it. Because I'll tell you, as I said, I've been coming here 26 years, and the Lord has used him greatly, okay? More like family. But I've heard complaints about, I'm not dogging anybody, but people that have gone to chiropractic say, oh, just give me your money and, you know, $30, $40, whatever it is, and out the door you go, but they never get better. Because Dr. John is different. He's about getting you better. Yes, you have to pay for services, of course, but it's reasonable, it's competitive, but he's about getting you better. He will put you on a plan, beloved, that will get you to optimal health, where everything is working correctly. And God made the body. The body has electricity in it, you know. And, you know, at the moment of conception, science is finding out, they're catching up with God. They'll never catch up with God, but they're learning that they don't know everything, you know. And they found at the moment of conception, there's a flash of light in the womb. A flash of light. What is that? That's the life of God beginning to tick. And we're going to talk about that today. And God has given this man a revelation knowledge on how to heal the human body without chemicals and without harm. So I want to introduce him to you, or reintroduce him if you've seen him before. He's on Facebook, John Huey, H-U-Y, Tarpon Total Health Care. And you can connect with him there as well as call his office, 727-934-0844. And he will give you a consultation and see what's going on with you and get you on the road to good health. So, absolutely. Dr. John.
Well, thank you for the kind words, and I do appreciate that very much.
Of course.
And hello to everyone out there. It's a pleasure to be here once again. I enjoy doing these talks with people. We have very good feedback, and I look forward to hearing from people out there watching right now. Yeah, you're talking about, you know, treating the entire patient. The name of this office, when I decided to change the name of this office back in 1995, okay, I picked Tarpon Total Health Care because that's indeed my philosophy, looking at the total patient. The biomechanical part, the chiropractic part that I do is very, very important, obviously, giving patients proper exercises and stretches and making sure the joints are moving properly. That's key. But also the biochemical part, that's where nutrition comes in. So back in 2005, I went back to school, so to speak.
You did.
And got my postdoc in nutrition. I've had that now for 13 years, and it's been a wonderful blessing because I'm able to help patients in so many more ways than I was before. So we'll talk about nutrition again today. Mm-hmm. The idea that even the esteemed American Medical Association does agree that people need a multiple vitamin. So at least they start at that level, that they agree that people need a multiple
They're
vitamin.
getting there.
What you have in your food these days obviously is not what we need. For those of you that aren't eating a good diet, the standard American diet is definitely far from where it should be. Way too many sugars, way too many refined carbohydrates, all these things, and food additives and chemicals. But I want to start off by saying, with the choice of a multiple vitamin, make sure the multiple vitamin that you pick does not have any food colors in it. If it has food colors in it, put it back and find one that's all natural. Or if it has polyethylene glycol, which is like an antifreeze, or polyvinyl alcohol, which is used in the printing industry, those are cheap binding agents that they use to hold all the stuff together within the tablet. If they've got those things, the food color or the other two things I mentioned, put it away. You don't want to be consuming that. That's not healthy for you. So anything that has a pinkish color or a nice, blue or orange color, it has food colors in it. You don't need food colors in your multiple vitamin. So a good multiple vitamin is a perfect way to start.
I have a question
Yes.
before you talk about that. I've had people say to me, and that's very good introduction, don't you think? Yes, of course you do. That's why you're still watching. I've had people say to me, "Oh, it passes the Food and Drug Administration." All that. I say, don't eat that, has chemicals, don't eat that. Well, it must be good because the Food and Drug Administration said it is. So explain that. How does it get by them?
There are hundreds of chemicals, food colors, for example, that aren't even rated by the FDA. Some of them are just generally agreed to as safe. There's a designation for that, but they're never tested whether they cause cancer. It's just remarkable how many chemicals are being used, and even in the food industry and supplements, that aren't being tested adequately. So if something is FDA regulated, like a prescription drug, it has to go through testing and pay a lot of money to get licensure, that type of thing. Supplements are not FDA regulated because they're not drugs. They're considered more food. So it doesn't, any of the supplements that I sell in my office are not FDA regulated. Some are patented, some are special in that regard, but they're not FDA regulated, nor do they have to be. So that answers the point there.
Okay, so they don't have to, because people have said to me over the years, oh, the FDA approves it, so people assume that it's right, but now you have your answer.
Yeah, the FDA approved thalidomide at one point too, and that didn't work out too well in the 60s.
Right, and these are chemicals, and these are things that cause cancer, and if you haven't figured it out, cancer has become an epidemic in the United States of America. The food is laced with chemicals that cause cancer.
Well, that's one of the problems. There are a lot of chemicals being used, far too many than we actually need, and there's the whole GMO, genetically modified organism problem that's out there. So the more natural you eat, the closer to the farm you live or to local growers that you live and eat, the better off you're going to be.
Right.
And as my family up in Canada says, who are farmers, I come from farmers originally, if you want your food clean, make sure you wash your hands, because the stuff we touch on newspaper and during the day is very toxic as well, and you want to make sure your hands are nice and clean when you're eating. That's important too.
That's right. And 3 John 2, God says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers." So God wants us healthy, and He doesn't want us ignorant of Satan's devices. It's one of Satan's devices to get in there and lace the food with poison to poison people. And then people get sick, they go to the doctor, they get more chemicals, more drugs, and more inflammation, and then they die. Okay, so we're talking about a natural alternative, a God alternative, eating off the land, eating organic if you could afford it. If not, you could look for natural. The least amount of ingredients, the better. The first ingredient means it's mostly in the product, okay? Try, if you can, no box foods, everything raw, whole foods. I know it's a lot, but you'll live longer and you'll live stronger, beloved of God. So talk to us about chiropractic, maybe 10 minutes, and then go off maybe into the nutrition part with the vitamins. And is that okay?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Just before I forget, you had a good thought about eating naturally. I tell patients that if it comes from a plant, eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't. Easy to remember. Okay.
That's good.
So
if it comes from a plant,
eat it.
Eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't.
And the other rule of thumb is, if you can't read the ingredients on the label, again, put it back. Because if it sounds like a science project, then you want to stay away from that. All right, too many additives is not good. And the best example is just simply the vitamins. You shouldn't have all those things in a multiple vitamin. There's no need for it, unless you want to keep them cheap and not very healthy. So as far as chiropractic, basically looking at the spinal hygiene, as I like to call it. People spend a lot of time and effort and money to take care of the dental hygiene, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
You want to have nice teeth, white teeth, straight teeth.
Clean.
However, clean teeth. The irony is that if you needed to replace one or all of them, you could do that. With the spine, however, it's not quite the same. There's no such thing as a disc replacement or vertebral body replacement. We can't just pop those in, pop those out. It's not the same. So to my mind, we should spend a lot more time, effort, and also expense as well, taking care of the spine, because once those levels are gone, once those levels become arthritic, it's very, very difficult to treat that. Just a few minutes ago, I had a young lady in here, a 20-year-old who was involved in a car accident, who was smart enough to come in after being hit by being involved in this car accident. Most kids that age, they'll feel aches and pains for a little bit, maybe even a month or two, and then they let it go away, and that's it. Then we fast forward a few decades, they come back in as an adult, because I've been doing this now for 27 years. I've had a chance to see what can develop over time with patients, and invariably, without fail, a previous injury that goes untreated will cause problems, wear and tear, arthritis, and leave that person disabled or having to face surgery in the future. So the idea of finding out what your spinal hygiene is like, we do evaluations, sometimes we take x-rays, sometimes it's a digital motion x-ray. It definitely involves an exam, an evaluation, a physical examination to find out where you're at, determine what kind of course of treatment you need, and then lay this all out before we even begin care. Because I've had some patients, they come in and their knees or the hips are so arthritic, they're looking for a silver bullet, and there's nothing we can do for them. They actually have to have joint replacement. That to me is always a loss, because they have to go back and have surgery. Had they done something before, it'd be a lot easier.
Now, you know, I've had 7 car accidents in my past.
You have to find a new hobby.
Okay, well, no more. We're done with it, right? I finally broke the curse, and thank you, Lord, by the grace of God, 30 years, okay? And all those years, you know, because of the accidents, I knew the importance of chiropractic. And I know in my heart of hearts that because I come to this office on a regular basis, when I go out of town, sometimes I go out, you know, and I go minister and I go on the road to preach. And if I'm gone for 3-4 weeks, I cannot wait to get back in this office. I count the days. Because I know because of all my adjustments, nobody can argue with me, by Dr. John himself and the wisdom of God God's given him, beloved, that I feel the way I feel today, which is good, as the decades are going by, okay? Because of all that, God used him, and plus, you know, the healing power of God, of course, through Dr. John's hands, to undo all the effects of when I was younger, all those whacks and whiplash and side hits and all that. And I'm telling you, chiropractic works. Nobody could tell me it does not. And Jesus heals through good doctors. So think about it, you know. Dr. John doesn't need the business. God has blessed him. He has multiple chiropractors working for him. He has multiple massage therapists working for him. He's built out this place. He gave me back my x-rays because he got rid of his x-ray room because he's out of space. You know, God has blessed him and his family over the years. But it's for your benefit, beloved of God. 93727-934-0844. And if you're tired of being sick and tired, give Dr. John a call. You know, give him a call. Try chiropractic. What did that gentleman say, that Dr. Palmer, about the doctor of the future?
That was actually...
was that Palmer?
No, that was Edison.
Edison, what did it tell us?
Dr. Future will give no drugs, but will more concern himself with the frame of the body and how the body's moving and functioning, to paraphrase what he said. And that's true, because as we find out more and more, the medications that we're taking have significant side effects. This was true most recently with the antacid drugs, the ones that decrease stomach acid, increase the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. Not too long ago, hormone replacement therapy in women, same thing, causing more problems with cancer, stroke, and heart disease that they were supposed to actually decrease. That was a big fiasco. I think personally that with the bone drugs, the bisphosphonates like Fosamax, the ones that keep the bone denser, we found out over the course of 10 years they made the bones denser but more brittle. So these things are always having problems. And lastly, it'll be, hopefully sooner rather than later, will be the cholesterol medications, which I think cause much more trouble than good. I'll be happy to talk to anybody who would like to talk about that.
And blood pressure.
Blood pressure medication, when patients have high blood pressure, that needs to be treated. So I'm not averse to blood pressure medication for temporary use, because you have to take the steps to either lose weight, get in better shape, address other problems, maybe it's kidney or what have you, to bring the blood pressure down. But say, well, I'm going to eat the way I want and keep the 50 pounds extra weight on and just take my blood pressure medication is not only short-sighted, it'll also be decreasing life expectancy. We want patients to live as long as possible, as healthy as possible. My mission statement is to treat as many people as I can in this area, get them off of drugs, let them avoid surgery so they can spend more time taking better care of families and building a better relationship with God. That's the mission statement of this office. and we've been doing this for a long time. So I don't want to say I'm so busy to see new patients because I like to see
we
new
need
patients.
we need to see new patients so
Because
you
there are
can
a lot of
live
people out
longer.
there, yeah, a
Well,
lot
I
of
mean,
people out
but
there
we're
that
not
need the care.
begging. I want you to understand, we're not putting this out here to beg. He loves to see new patients because he has a heart. His mission, his gifts in the earth are to heal the human being that come into his office, okay? And to heal hearts, because when you heal your body, your heart gets healed. You know, when your body is sick, you're depressed. You're not happy. I don't know anybody says, yay, they're happy that they're sick. No. But when you're feeling better and the electricity of God through your body is going through your body, yes. Come in and see him. He always loves to see new patients. And the herbal formula, do you want to talk about that a little bit for the blood pressure? You don't know, maybe.
Well, I don't want to give you advice that specific.
There's a 97-year-old woman that you treat. She's 97. How long have you been treating her?
Actually, I have two 97-year-old patients. One has been treating this office since actually before I was owned this clinic. So she's been treating
like
for a
me,
long time.
like me.
Yes.
Okay, but
And
she's
the
97.
The other 97-year-old I've been treating probably for just a handful of years.
Okay.
And she was very funny because she was going on a bucket list trip to Israel, and she could barely walk at the time. So I had like 10 days to get her in good shape, and we did so, and she did remarkably well. This is, I think she was only 94 at the time, so she was still very, very young. She's 94.
Wow.
And she showed me a picture of her and her friend standing on a rock, on one leg, kind of doing this.
She went to Israel.
The first day, I think she's 94 when she did that. 94, 95.
There you
and
go.
She walked like 10 hours the very first day.
See?
She sent me a card, and I see her once a month now. She's just getting her wellness care, and she's doing very, very well. The other patient I've been treating for a long time, and she's also getting wellness care at this point. So the idea is, when people say, oh, you start seeing a chiropractor, you have to go for the rest of your life, the answer is absolutely.
Yeah.
If you want to stay healthy.
Yeah.
If you're eating well, do you eat well for a month or two or 6 months or a year and say, I've eaten well now for a year, I'm going to go back to the same bad diet that I had before? Of course not. No one would ever suggest that.
That's true.
So if you want to take care of I don't care if it's your dental hygiene, you have a good checkup from your dentist, and they say, all right, no cavities, and you just stop brushing and flossing and eating junk.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. If you have a good checkup from your chiropractor, and we say, okay, you've reached your maximal level, you're doing great, now let's start wellness care. Patients will continue with care. And the reason is because they understand that keeping that correction going, making sure they're doing the things not just in my office but outside the office to keep themselves as happy and healthy as possible is worth the investment, both time and effort.
Yeah.
So
and it's important. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. I've often told Dr. John, if I'm coming here, especially if I'm out of town, and I can tell, I have to carry the luggage or whatever I've been doing, on the trip, and out of my element, after he adjusts me, and we do muscle stem. Explain what the muscle stimulation is.
Muscle stim is electromuscle stimulation. It is a milliamp form of electricity that basically causes the muscle to relax. And it's, to me, a lot safer than taking medication for that. So if patients have acute spasm, taken a fall or trip or had a car accident, we get those muscles to relax pretty quickly with the muscle stim.
Without a muscle relaxer, without medication?
Without drugs, yes.
Okay. And they put heat on you. It's very relaxing. And the decompression, I do decompression as well when I come in for a visit. Explain it.
Decompression is great. It's one of those things, actually, I had a new patient today, referred by an orthopedic surgeon whom I really respect because he is not knife happy. I mean, he understands that some patients do require surgery, and we all understand that.
Yes.
But keep in mind, back in 2013, the journal Spine, which is an orthopedic journal, looked at the surgeries that were done the year before.
Okay.
And there were 800,000 spinal surgeries done that year.
Okay.
Through their own calculations, not chiropractors talking about this, but the orthopedic surgeons, they calculated that 3/4 or 600,000 were not necessary.
See? 800,000, 600,000 were not necessary.
So that's from the orthopedic journals, the doctors themselves. So I'm glad they came up with that information because it is true. So getting patients referred here by orthos is not unusual, and the reason he was sent here actually because he wanted to undergo decompression. And it's non-surgical decompression, which means the patients, such as yourself, lay on the table.
Yes.
We attach a device to gently pull and relax,
lumbar or neck.
Cervical spine. And does it hurt when you're on that table?
No, it feels like a massage because you're stretching.
It's very comfortable, and what that does is it pulls the disc material back in, as opposed to the disc sticking out like this. It pulls it back in, and then a couple of nice things happen. One is the pain gets better and goes away because the pressure is now off the nerve, whether it's down your arm or down the leg with sciatic pain. And the other nice thing is that once that disc is more flush from where it came out of in the tissue, your body can then make much stronger scar tissue. And that's particularly important because patients have a tendency to have new accidents or falls or spills, and the stronger the scar tissue, the better the resilience of that tissue after the decompression. And so it works really, really well. I'm very proud. I have 2 tables in here. I'm trying to get a third decompression table, and it's a great way to keep somebody away from neck surgery or low back surgery.
And that saved me, which look on our other program we did several months ago, and I gave my testimony about the decompression, and when I came in here on a walker, and I came in, I had to go to the medical doctor for pain pills, which I absolutely detest, but I couldn't move. I was paralyzed from my right side, my right leg all the way down. I could not move, and the pain, I'll never say my back hurts again. Remember I told you, I said, that was a pain, that was a pain like horrific. And in 5 days, of course the decompression, okay, I was on the decompression. Dr. John says, I'm not going to adjust you for 2 weeks. I want you here every day except Sunday. And he did the decompression, put me on the machine, the office did, and in 5 days, just of that, no chiropractic adjustment, the pain lessened to a toothache, which I was able to withstand with heat and ice. Remember that? 5 days I got off the pain pills. 5 days. I was taking a half a pain pill and I was walking into the wall. I said, God, Jesus, I don't want to do this anymore. And then God answered prayer through the decompression, through Dr. John's wisdom, in 5 days. And then in 6 months, I was back with my little heels again. I'm able to touch the ground without any pain, without surgery. So I'm a believer. I prayed and I heard the Lord say, call Dr. John. And I hadn't been here for 9 months, and I should have been here once a month. And something happened where I twisted wrong, and that happened to me. So I'm a believer. Nobody's going to argue with my experience. So if you're suffering, beloved, if you will love Dr. John and his staff, and his wife works here sometimes. She's absolutely delightful, Cynthia. The people that work here are delightful. They're very professional, and it's just they talk to the patient. They just don't hook you up and out they talk to you. How are you? What's going on with you? They're not just, let me write a script and out. They're not like that. It's like family here. 727-934-0844. You want to get better, don't you? Jesus uses this man of God. Tarpon Total Health Care, 400 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, Florida. So, now I'd like to shift gears. Unless you have something else on your heart.
Nope. You
want to talk about the chiropractic?
The decompression, the technology, and also the protocols that we use they work very well. And you're
I'm living proof of that, okay? What about digital x-rays? A lot of chiropractors don't have digital x-rays.
Well, it's kind of special. They have some digital x-rays. We have a digital motion x-ray.
Okay,
it's
digital
called the DMX,
motion.
which is a little bit different because they're static films, which can be digital, which is just, it's convenient to have the digital static films.
Okay.
But we have a DMX, which is a digital motion x-ray, which allows us to see the joints moving in real time. And that's been fantastic because the things we picked up with respect to instability, especially after car accidents or serious falls, that allows me to do a better job in treating the patient. Because if you have a neck issue where things are very, very unstable, the last thing you want to do is go in there and try to adjust either with hands on or with the instrument, because it's not necessary and it may cause more harm. So it
shows you when the patient moves, it shows you what's rubbing where inside the body.
Exactly.
Okay.
Neck, shoulders, knees, hips. The only area we can't see, well, the adults is usually low back because of size, but we do scoliosis screening with kids, so we get to see how things are moving. The other really cool thing about that is it's very low exposure. So 30 seconds on the DMX is the same as 1/10 of a dental x-ray.
Okay.
So, if we have kids that potentially need a x-ray for scoliosis, we'll just scan them quickly and see. Because if there's a curve there, then we'll take a regular film and do the measurements. But if there's no curve, why bother taking that x-ray?
So if someone says, okay, Dr. Huey, or Dr. John, I call him Dr. John, some people call him Dr. Huey. If someone says to you, I've been to the doctors, they can't find what's wrong, I'm just on medicine because of the pain. The digital x-ray, or DMX, that will show, they sit there and they move, they turn like this, and he can see what's rubbing, what's out of place, what needs to be adjusted, so he will find out what's wrong. He will be able to see what's wrong.
If people are having pain when they turn their head to the right and look up, we have them turn their head to the right, look up, and then show us where it is. We find out exactly what's going on. So it's a wonderful, wonderful technology and diagnostic test, and it's not expensive, and it's very, very quick, and we have instantaneous results. We look at it right away, and patients are always, it's always cool because they'll say things like, I've never seen that before, this is neat, they get to see their bones moving, or their wrists, or their feet, it's very educational, but to me, it's extremely informative, and I can do a much better job using that technology to treat my patients.
Now, how does that differ from an MRI?
MRI is basically looking at soft tissue, so MRI is a big magnet, and any X-rays, whether it's the plain X-rays or the DMX, is ionizing radiation, so there's radiation involved there. MRI has no ionizing radiation, and it shows us the soft tissue. So I tell patients, X-rays for arthritis to see if there's arthritis or instability, and MRI to show the soft tissue, disc herniations or other pathology in the brain or other organs. That's what we use the MRIs for, more for soft tissue as opposed to the bones, which are hard tissue.
Okay, that's tremendous. And he has all that here. He doesn't have the MRI. He has an MRI here, but he has the DMX here, digital X-ray. He has he has massage therapy here. He does talks once a month. That's open to the public if they want to just come and listen and meet you.
Just call and find out when the next one is,
Yeah, once a month he'll have health talks. He'll bring in other professional people, and it's free. It's just informative, and it's at the office, 400 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, Florida, Tarpon Total Health Care, and you'll learn a lot, beloved of God. So let's talk about the vitamins. We'll go, if that's okay. We have a few minutes left. What would you like to talk about? Protandim or?
Well, all the patients that I have, whether they're a car accident patient or a slip and fall or Medicare, everybody goes through a nutritional consultation, which means they have to give you some information on their diet for a week, a systems review looking at ingestion to elimination, checking out their thyroid function, and all the list of medications that they're taking. So there are 4 different documents that we have patients fill out. And then we sit down, I prepare the report, and it's a personalized report, obviously, based on the information that they gave me. We sit down for anywhere from 30 minutes to sometimes an hour if it's very complicated, and tell patients what they need to change, both in their diet and in supplementation. And that's part of the care plan. I don't charge extra for that for my patients that have taken the care plan for their spinal hygiene requirements. The cool thing is that he's a word a lot this day. I was just out in San Diego this past weekend at a conference, and they used cool and dude all the time. It was kind of funny. I've never seen so many guys.
Cool and dude.
Oh yeah, 30-year-olds, 40-years, 50-years-olds. Everybody's a dude, and everything's cool.
That's from the 80s, the 70s.
Yes, but everything's a dude. So I'm going to say that's one of the very valuable, and it is cool, but very valuable supplements that has come to my attention over the past few years is one called Protandim, which is this one here. And what's special about this is it activates genes. So when you take a vitamin,
are you listening?
You take a vitamin D or a vitamin C. There's a specific use for that vitamin within the body. Vitamin C helps to make collagen and makes connective tissue to keep you healthy. Vitamin D helps with bone formation, with mental health, so different things. This product here actually increases your gene expression. So it activates your genes. So what that means is someone that is 80 years old, we can do a blood test to show what their cell age is based on how much damage there is to the lipid layer, the fat layer in the cell. And that's a gold standard for aging called a T-bar test. And we can test that person, and he or she will have a fairly high level if they're older. A 20-year-old will naturally have a lower level, because their enzymes are still active, their genes are still making expressing a lot of enzymes. As we get older, that gene expression, naturally decreases. And that's one of the hallmarks of aging. It's not just the gray hair, but it's the fact that your genes become less expressive. So they make less things, they make less enzymes, and those enzymes, a lot of them, are very, very important to keep us healthy. So the pathway by which Protandim works is called NRF2, capital N, small r, small f, the number 2. And that pathway affects at least 4,000 genes within your cells. You got how many genes in your cell? 25,000.
25,000 genes
per cell.
Per cell. How many cells?
100 trillion cells.
And you say that people say there is not a God. Of course there is.
And this product affects at least 4,000 of those. So the big important ones as far as short-term change and making the cells behave younger are the ones that destroy free radicals. So free radicals, think of the Tasmanian devil in that cartoon. They're kind of spinning around and bumping into things, and you have oxygen molecules in your body that become free radicals. They have an unpaired electron. Suffice it to say, they spin on the body like the Tasmanian devil, and they bump into a piece of your DNA, or bump into your lipid or mitochondria, and they pull off an electron, so they're happy. Now it's a happy Tasmanian devil. But when they do that, that causes damage. And that happens 10 to the 23rd times per day in a person.
So they're happy, but your body isn't.
It causes damage. And the older we get, the more free radical damage we have. The older we get, the less of the enzymes that are supposed to destroy the free radicals we also have. So this is able to increase those enzymes.
It's tremendous.
To the point where when you test that 80-year-old after you've been taking this one tablet a day for a month,
yeah,
his level of T-bar is the same as that of a 20-year-old. You cannot tell the difference.
And how long?
In 30 days. Average of 40% decrease, up to 70% in 4 months. So this is kind of a game changer with health and wellness, because nothing else can do this. This has 9 patents worldwide. There are 24 papers now in PubMed.gov, which is the site where all the peer-reviewed scientific literature, all different topics are kept. I'm a co-author on 2 papers in PubMed back in my scientific days at the University of Toronto, but this has 24 I think now papers on PubMed. So it's a unique product. It's very special. Most prescription drugs don't have 24 papers on them, and this is non-prescription, thank goodness. It's very affordable, and it's available directly to patients that they can get. And I think it's one thing that everybody should be taking.
And you have it here?
I have it in the office here, yes.
You have it here.
So this Protandim is particularly impressive. And if
Very-
there's any questions, they can call or go on the website to get more information.
And you do talks in the office
Mhm.
every so often on
Actually,
Protandim?
on Wednesday, this Wednesday, so that's going to be what, the 12th, 13th. So tomorrow, the 13th, Wednesday the 13th at 7:15.
June
7:15 in the
13th.
office. Yes.
715, 400 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, Florida, 33334, whatever the zip is,
34689.
34689. I used to, yeah, I do know it. 727-934-0844. Tomorrow, if you're not doing anything, no obligation, just come in here to talk on Protandim. Anybody else going to be speaking? Or you?
Probably Michael Huey. No, actually, he won't be speaking because he's still at that conference. So
Okay.
I'll be handling that all tomorrow.
Okay, Dr. John Huey will be handling it, and you can meet him and talk to him and shake his hand, and
I'll say hi.
yeah, he'll say hi. 7:15, right here at Tarpon Tour Health
Just
Care.
turn up the time and temperature sign. Let's
Yeah.
see if it's
Yeah.
actually working right now. So it's
It's
at the
working.
corner of Gross and Tarpon Avenue. You'll see the time and temperature sign. Make a left and then left into the parking lot, and that's how you get to the office.
Yes, and we are at his office, as you can see. So what's next? What would you like to talk
Well,
about?
another thing
Proceed.
that patients need to take on a regular basis is also a good probiotic. So
good
probiotics are nothing more than bacteria that we have 100 trillion cells in your body. We have probably 3 times that many in the gut.
And explain for people who don't know about probiotic, what is it? People have gas problems, gastro problems.
Yes. So if you have good friendly bacteria in your gut, hundreds of trillions of bacteria in your gut, you have a good relationship they have a good relationship with you, and that allows you to digest food, to absorb vitamins, basically to have regular elimination.
Yeah.
So probiotics are very, very important. The problem is when you have antibiotics or some other medication, you kill those natural bacteria in the gut. And then which ones get in after that is kind of a guesswork. If you're exposed to certain things or eat certain food, there's a bacteria or yeast on there, they may get a foothold in your gut and they may grow.
And what are the symptoms of that?
Bloating, lethargy, brain fog. Eventually, if you have
Gas
enough problems
cramping,
with your gut,
diarrhea.
yeah, and eventually if you have those problems that go on for a long time, your autoimmune disorders start to come into play.
Okay, and GERD,
Arthritis,
gastroarthritis.
MS, all the big autoimmune problems.
And Tums doesn't heal you. Tums is worse. It's
Definitely
an
not.
acid.
So you want to have a probiotic that does a couple of things. One, it has to get through the stomach acid, and
You hear that? It has to get through stomach acid.
That's
So
important.
your average over-the-counter, not all probiotics are created equal.
No.
They don't get to the intestines because the acid, the hydrochloric
Hydrochloric.
acid in the stomach wasn't that good. Hydrochloric
Very good.
acid, hanging around him for 26 years. Hydrochloric acid in the stomach will eat up the probiotic and it won't get to your intestinal
and I
area.
must admit, I'm guilty of that as well. Years ago, I used to have probiotics that had to be kept in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And in
you
retrospect,
have
it's
to?
kind of foolish. No, because they have to get through the stomach acid, which is 1.1 pH. Anything that has to be kept in the fridge, away from room temperature, will never and does never survive the stomach acid.
I thought of that from the cold to
Yes.
the hot body.
So here's what we know.
Physique.
A couple of years ago, we found out that if you give people dead bacteria,
Yeah.
have them swallow dead bacteria, or live bacteria that will be destroyed, it does have a positive effect on the gut for 2 reasons. It affects the immune system through what are called galt tissues and also Peyer's patches within the gut. So that's how these things have been working up until now. Because I've used probiotics that were being killed in the stomach and getting some positive results. But now we have a way to put that bacteria in there, and this will be live bacteria that'll stay alive, so it still has that same impact on the gut. But now it's even better, is we can get bacteria to actually grow.
So how does it stay alive without refrigeration?
It's in a case. Each one is each little
It's
tablet
in
is
a
in a case.
case that it's protected.
Yeah.
It's called physique.
Physique. I actually call it
Yeah.
probio. And what that allows
And that's
you to do,
reasonable too. And there's one a day.
3 a day. Take
3 a
at the
day.
same time.
So that's a month's
month's
supply. Okay.
And it gets to the stomach acid. And here's the other nice thing about this, which is unique and it's also patented. As it gets in the small intestine, so it survives the stomach acid, which is key.
Yeah.
If it doesn't survive the stomach acid, it's going to die and it's going to have limited benefit. So it gets to the stomach acid, and then as it breaks down, as that case breaks down, it drops off the 6 different strains, which have been selected because they're very, very beneficial for the human body.
Okay.
But it drops them off at the spot where they're most likely to grow. So it's called a biotrack system.
Okay.
That is just clever.
That's tremendous.
That
It
is
goes.
just clever.
It goes right to the area.
Yep. So the ones that grow higher up in the small intestine, they're released first. The ones that grow better in the lower part of the small intestine, they're released later. And yeah, that's just good thinking.
That sounds to me like a God magnet. It knows where to go.
Yeah.
For this product.
That's good.
And it's all natural. It's no chemicals. And it's
No, it's all natural. The six strains are very,
What
very
else
good.
you have here?
The other thing that I think I'm talking about just for weight, because that's a big issue with everyone is losing weight.
There's a fat burner.
And there's a fat burn, which I think is a really silly name for this product, but it does work very, very well. It's funny, I had a friend of mine,
Wow, this
and
is a fat burner.
he came in, he lost 10 pounds in the first 2 months, or 20 pounds in the first 2 months, and he was telling me how useful this was. And he was going, no, really, this is, and I said, I agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, he was telling you
Yes,
how. He was telling you.
He showed me the belt loop and everything.
Yeah. He was
So,
happy, and he
yes.
took this.
Yes.
And it says physique, fat burn,
So-
metabolic enhancer.
Yeah, so what this does is because no matter what you do, any strategy you try to use with respect to weight loss, if you're still eating too much, you're not going to lose weight. So, as my wife says, it's what goes in the old pie hole.
Right.
And if it's pie,
Right.
you're not going to lose weight.
And you know.
So you have to be on a diet that is and that's why we do the whole nutritional thing with my patients, so I tell them what the do's and don'ts are. But people know,
Yeah.
as I like to say, what their poison is. If it's bagels, if it's ice cream, but they know what they shouldn't be
All
eating.
that, all that bagels and it turns to sugar. White pasta turns to sugar. Bagels turn to sugar. Processed cereals turn to sugar. They have sugar in them. I mean, the little sugar stores fat. So everybody knows what they should eat, what they shouldn't eat.
Yeah, people do know that. They know in their heart of hearts what they're doing bad.
But they like to eat. Or you'll hear that they'll tell up on themselves. They'll say, "Oh, when I lose this 10 pounds, I'm going to go get this."
Yeah.
Because they're stopping it. The key is not to lose the 10 pounds and go get that, beloved. The key is to not eat it if it's damaging to you.
Yes,
I mean,
and stay
in
away from it.
moderation, can have ice cream every couple of months, 3 months, 4 months. It's better to wean yourself off. Ask God to change your appetite. Chocolate or pasta, whatever it is. I know people that have to eat pasta every single night. Every single night they're borderline diabetes, okay? And so, that all turns to sugar. It turns to sugar. And so everybody has to choose this day. There's a song, who said you have to serve somebody. So if we're going to serve our body, we're going to serve the Lord. We're going to serve, the Lord and not serve our body, so we can live out our days and we can build the kingdom of God and we can be here for our children, our grandchildren.
Yes.
But you have to serve somebody. So
And that body can be your body.
it could be our body, right? It could be our body that we cannot stop eating this. My mom, she's graduated to heaven now, but she would say, well, people put the food in their mouth with their hands, and they can not put the food in their mouth with their hands, and the weight will come off.
Yeah.
And when she graduated to heaven, she was a size 4, little tiny, and she was probably one of the most disciplined women that I've ever met in my entire life. I've never seen her eat a whole ice cream cone. She'd take a taste and say, nah. Never eat chocolate cake. I've never seen her eat cake, in all the years. And so it's a discipline. It's a discipline, everything.
But discipline is a matter of habit, and you can either be a disciplined sugar eater and do it a lot, or a disciplined non-sugar eater. So it's just a matter of what you consider to be beneficial long term, and avoiding the bad habits.
Right.
And for those patients that have made up their mind that they want to change their
Right.
diet, that's where this is particularly helpful, because
Yeah.
what this does, a couple of things, it allows your body to decrease sugar output from the liver. So when you're fasting or you're trying to lose weight, your liver will put out sugar, all right? That
Okay.
keeps the brain happy, because it still puts out glucose, I should say, not sugar, but glucose for the brain.
Yeah.
but it decreases that rate. So then the body says, all right, maybe I should burn some body fat to make some more energy. And that's why this works so well, because it allows you to burn body fat. And there's also a citrus polyphenol, again, that will help your body selectively burn body fat. So it's no good if you're just burning up your sugar stores, your glycogen from the liver, and then you run out of energy. This here slows down that ability, so you always have the ability to put glucose in the brain. That never changes, but it allows your body to burn more fat. And that's why this guy lost 10 pounds, twice in a row. So 10 pounds January, 10 pounds February, 10 pounds
And
February.
that's a nice slow where it won't come back. It won't die. It won't zig like.
Usually a little faster than we normally see,
Yeah.
but he stopped eating Cheez-Its and other stuff, and that makes a difference as
well.
And
people know. I mean, if people are on statin drugs because their cholesterol is high, stop eating high saturated foods. Look, read the label, and it's a saturated. Cheese is a big one. Milk is a big one. Ice cream's a big one. Cake, processed cookies. Vegetable oil, soybean oil, all this stuff. There's palm oil. Palm oil. They put in a lot of natural salad dressings. Palm oil is half saturated fat. Did you know that? And when I called the company and I said, "Do you have any hydrogenated fats in your salad dressing?" They told me no. Well, I found out that palm oil is in there, and palm oil is half saturated fat. So we have to become educated.
Yeah, like peanut butter, for example.
Right.
They'll take the peanut oil
Right.
out of peanuts and sell that because it's more valuable,
Right.
and put in palm oil.
Right.
And it's terrible.
Yeah.
So like just get your own grind your own peanut butter.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
But peanut oil is
peanut oil. Right.
Is healthier than the palm oil. That's why they take it away and sell it.
Right. That's why they take it away and sell it. Right. And peanut butter. I picked up a jar of peanut butter one time at somebody's house, and I read the ingredients because I'm real watchful with hydrogenated oils, to put in my body, And it said, I couldn't believe it. It said 100% hydrogenated oil in the peanut butter. So that's Clog City. That's Clog City. So, we're talking about living long, living strong. Jeremiah 30 verse 17 says, God says, I will restore health unto you and heal you of your wounds, says the Lord. Well, there are different ways. I mean, yes, God can do a miracle. We can sit here and pray and worship the Lord and say, Jesus, thank you for healing me. Yes, and he does, and he will. But he uses good doctors. He uses the knowledge that he's given to good doctors. Doctor of chiropractic, doctor of nutrition, even some medical doctors are jumping on the bandwagon, beloved. They're becoming alternative doctors because they find out that the medicine is not working. Okay, but Dr. Huey, he's been doing this. He went to school for it, and in his experience for the past 27 years, he knows what he's doing, and God uses him. And it's a wonderful family, and it's a wonderful office, and we want you well. That's why I keep having him on. Okay, look up the other ones. You can go on his page, Dr. John Huey, Huy, and we have the videos on there. You can go on Showshannah Rose radio program on Facebook and scroll down and watch all our videos, and Dr. John is on that. And we're going to keep doing this because I want you to be educated about, when I find somebody that knows something, that's who God sends to Showshannah Rose radio program, beloved. When I find somebody that knows something, I want to get it out to you, our audience. I want it to be informative and instructional, and I want it to be, it works. I'll never tell you anything that doesn't work, okay? And he didn't pay me to do this. I invited him to be on the program, okay? And I usually some people can pay, whatever goes on with people. I invited him because I said, Dr. John, I want the knowledge that you have, that God has given you. I want that to my listening audience. And I said, can we get it on camera? And he said, absolutely. So today's the day at his office, and you're benefiting. And share with your friends. Come to the talks. You say, well, I'm not real sure, about chiropractic. The other day, I met somebody, I don't know if I told you this. I met somebody at I went over to a physical therapy, okay, to ask some questions, okay? And the young, beautiful doctor, he's so cute, right out of school, like when you first came out of school, he was like 27 years old, and
before electricity.
Yeah, before electricity, yeah. And he said, and before you were gray, and so he said, a lot of years, a lot of experience, but he said to me, we talked about chiropractic, and he has chiropractic in his office, okay, but he's a physical therapist, and he said to me, I started telling him what I learned and that I've been coming here for 26 years, and I'm very, very happy here, and I appreciate, you answering questions, doctor, but I'm sold out by Dr. John Huey. I said, but I commend you for having chiropractic here. You know what he said to me? He said, most of my patients, most 90-something% that come in here have never been to a chiropractor. So here he's a physical therapist, and he brought a chiropractor into his office to introduce. He said they're all medical people that go to medical doctors, and the pills are not working, and so I bring them here. He said homeopathic is the best way, he told me. So he has all these people coming out of the medical world, the hospitals are sending them, but he has he's in the medical world to bring them in, but when you get there, he's not medical at all.
Chiropractic, homeopathy.
Yeah. And so
You never told me that.
Right, yeah, that happened a couple of weeks ago. And so I said to him, chiropractic is the way, doctor. God bless you. Keep doing it. And I was amazed that then when he said that to me, he said, I'm answering your questions. He said, Miss Finkelman. He said, most of my patients have never been to a chiropractor. So that amazed me because I've been coming here for 27 years. So our time is just about up. I've so enjoyed this. I know you've enjoyed this. Come to the talks. You don't even have to, just come meet Dr. John. Call the office, 727-934-0844. It's Tarpon Total Health Care. Find Dr. John on Facebook. Find it on the internet. Click on the link. It's very easy navigating. It'll take you right to the office phone number. And come in, shake his hand, no obligation. There's never any pressure here. 26 years I've been coming here, 27 years. I've never had one bit of pressure from anybody to do anything that I didn't feel comfortable with. You'll feel peace when you come here, and you'll get better, okay? So, I thank you so much for being, I love this because we're learning, we're growing, and I know his heart. I know your heart. Your heart is to help people. And yes, they have to pay for adjustments and pay for the service. Of course you do. Of course. There's bills here to pay, and employees to pay. But the main focus of this office, everybody, is to get you better. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, give Dr. John a call. Again, Ann Finkelman, 727-934-0844. And Ann Finkelman I attest to the fact that God uses this man of God. And we're going to do this again. We're going to do, before we go, we have maybe about 3 more minutes. You want to touch on stem cells, or you want to wait till the next program? We're going to do a program on stem cells. This is something new that God has brought into the office, and stem cells and Dr. John said to me, nothing short of miraculous. And when he makes a statement like that, it's true. And then I found out about it. I did some research, and it's tremendous. It's a way of people getting healed by the miracle working hand of God through good doctors. So Dr. John's going to be starting to do that here in the office, and by a professional that he's bringing in that's going to work for him as well. You're going to have to expand up and out. There are so many people working here. It's big, a lot of employees. So, Ann Finkelman, Showshannah Rose radio program. I'm so happy you took the time to watch us, and then you watch us and you learn about Dr. John. You learn about what he does here at Tarpon Total Health Care. Connect with me on Facebook, Ann Finkelman, Showshannah Rose radio program. If you want to donate to this work of the Lord, because we do other things as well in the ministry. We've been doing this publicly ministering since 1992, and it's the call of God on my life, and I love it. And there's many different facets, writing books and many different facets. Going to churches and preaching. If you want us to come to the church, contact me. And the way you do that is through the internet on Facebook. So, Dr. John, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me again.
Of course.
Greatly appreciative to be here.
It's tremendous. Give him a call. I see you soon. I love you more and more and more and more. Listen. Connect with us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every time we have a different exciting ministry. No ministry is the same. This is a ministry of a doctor of chiropractic and diplomat nutrition. He knows he's an alternative doctor. And you'll learn so much just watching Showshannah Rose radio program. You want to sow a seed? You want to give financial seed? ShowshannahMinistries.net, or go to PayPal, type in Showshannah Ministries, will come up. And then God will greatly bless you, beloved of God. So I'll see you next time. Ann Finkelman says she loves you, loves you, loves you. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you. Same one, push this button here.